Folks, if you're listening to this on the YouTubes, there's about 10 minutes that you might want to go back and listen to. If you like the Black Crows, if you like Sean Coven, or if you like Paula Cole.
There's a little something for everybody.
I got a feeling no one's going to go from YouTube to the...
No, probably not.
The Black Crows, what? What? Black Crows? Who are they? Rock stars, right? That guy could, if that guy wasn't a rock star, he couldn't get laid in a whorehouse with a stack of 50s taped to his forehead. Yet he was with, what's her name?
Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson. How does that work?
How do you think it works? Musicians.
I've said the same thing about Mick Jagger. Women go, oh, he's so sexy. Put him in a 7-Eleven. He's never been a rock star. Is he still sexy?
Well, that's like all these single housewives, all these attractive older women, and they're all like, I just want a man who I just love. And I'm like, yeah, you aren't dating, plumbers and bartenders and police officers, are you, lady?
Right. Yeah, walk right down. Look, next time you just want a man, walk down to the 7-Eleven and whoever's behind that counter, ask him for a date. Or the next time the guy comes over to blow your lawn, ask him to blow you. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. I don't want to hear you just want a man. No, you don't. You don't want the gardener. He doesn't have swanky clothes on. He shows up in a truck, doesn't look so swanky. He doesn't have the R8 or the SL or whatever they put on Mercedes and
Audi.
Is it the R8? Do they
R8? Yeah.
I actually got that right. Yeah. No, they don't want that. They don't want the hardworking guy. Nope. You know why I know that?
Why?
Because I was the hardworking guy. I don't work that hard anymore. I've quit.
Let's not.
But I was the guy that went to your house. I still work hard, but I was the guy that went to your house. I showed up in a pickup truck.
But you got to do titty rubs.
I did do some titty rubs. I did. It's right there in my book. I didn't make that up. That really happened several times, way more times than you can imagine. I rubbed some titty. Some would say these hands are
post-op titty.
Oh, yeah. Should we explain to the audience what that is who might not have read my book?
I had never heard of it, which is, proof that I don't have a boob job.
Oh, no, you do not.
No, I do not.
I am an expert. There are 2 women without boob jobs, that are 3 women that I know of. You, Nancy Wolfson, and Gina Grad. No boob jobs.
No.
You 3 girls are the Mount Rushmore of kitty with no boob job.
Mount Titsmore.
You guys are Mount Rushmore. They can carve into your titties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And by the way, audience, only Vinny's allowed to comment on it. Please don't at me. No cards and letters. I don't want to fucking hear it.
And when you call me for a consult, don't start saying, who's got bigger titties? Because I'm not going to answer it. This is Gina. But I'm not going to answer it. They're slightly bigger. Okay. That aside, right? When I'm showing up, we were going to talk about the boob job. So women, they would get these boobs, especially we're talking about the early 90s. They figured out a different way to do them at first. They were putting them over the muscle and then under the muscle or whatever. But when you first get the boob job, you have to massage them. You have to work them. And it's not just, you don't just rub them. You have to kind of, because you don't want the scar tissue to start building up, and then they get these fibrous scar tissues. And so the surgeons would tell them, you have to get in there and rub these things. You got to rub them, right? You got to get in there. And of course, the husbands that are paying for them, for my clients at least, these guys are heads of studios and running Hollywood and everything else. They're not interested.
You're over there rubbing their wife's titties.
Look, the bottom line is the reason they let their wife get a boob job is to just, whatever you want, go do that because I'm fucking someone else. This is Hollywood, folks. This is what goes on. So these women are doing everything that looks sexy to these men again, because you see, they're wife number 3 anyway. So this guy's traded up 3 times, just like he's trading in his R8. This is what goes on. If you guys want to know what goes on in Hollywood, Anna might have the longest.
Dysfunctional, to say the least.
It is. Anna, am I making any of this up?
No. You're correct.
Anna, you've been married to the same man for how many years?
Almost 23 years.
That might be a Hollywood record.
Yeah.
Right. It is hard to be married in Hollywood, man, because it's like
hard for 2 creative people to marry each other too. I don't know what it is. It's just.
And you guys are both creative. But you make it work.
It's a lot.
Somehow you make it work. But these guys, these agents, these managers, they're always trading up. And if the wife wants Vinnie, the trainer, to come over, she wants a tit job, whatever she wants, you get. You just get. That's just the way it works, right? So naturally, after they get the boob job, they tell the husband, "Oh, you're supposed to massage him." And he's like, "I don't want to touch your tits. I've been touching my secretary's tits all day. Right? Why do I want to touch your tits? I'm touching tits out. I'm done." Right?
Yeah, poor guy. So many titties.
It was like, well, you want me to get a masseuse over here? And they go, why don't you get that guy that trained? But most of them probably thought I was gay anyway, and it's like, oh, get Vinnie to do it. He'll do it. So these women go,
there's a lot of things I've thought about you. Never once thought you're gay.
But these guys didn't really know me or meet me or anything. I'm just, Vinnie, the trainer's coming over. He's got to be gay, right? He looks good not to be. He's got the body. He pays attention to his body, right? Not like a moisturizer or anything, but I don't know. Anyway, the women would go, would you mind doing this? Right. And it wasn't like some kind of sensual thing where I'm working the nipples or anything. You're doing this. It's just what it was. That was part of my job. And I talked about it in my best-selling book, Fitness Confidential.
Yeah, you should definitely. I learned a lot from reading that book, but I also learned a lot from watching your movie. But I when you want to talk about that now, because I really want to talk about it. I'm really excited about it.
Okay, so Anna, you saw Beyond
Impossible.
Now let me say this before you. I don't know what as Anna will tell you. Inner world. Wait, hold on to that. I want you to do the inner world, but don't do it yet. I do not want to know what Anna's going to say about the movie because, well, number one, we only talk on mic because it doesn't behoove us to talk to each other otherwise. That's a lie. We talk to each other. We never talk about the show. I didn't ask her about the movie yet. And here's the other thing. I don't know if it's up for pre-sale when this comes out on Monday, but it's coming out for pre-sale soon with Gravitas Ventures. I will let you guys know when. Can
you just guarantee that when it does, when someone goes to VinnieTortorich.com, there'll be a really obvious thing right on that landing page to click on to pre-order?
I'll make sure that Debbie or someone in the network does that.
And then you're just going to have to put out the tweets and the things. I know that Scott does all that social stuff.
Yeah. I'll get everybody on.
I'll spread the word. I'll put it in my emails.
Well, if you're spreading the word, that means you ended up liking the movie. Now, let me ask a question.
Yeah.
Are you just saying you liked it because I did it and it would be uncomfortable? I need you to be honest here.
I have a bias, but I'm also, I think, more judgmental of my friends' work because I know that, I know what you're capable of. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So if it didn't meet my expectations for where the content that you should be putting out there, I would be upset. And so it's a high bar. Not that matters to you.
I think you're making excuses for the movie now.
No. I'm saying it met and exceeded my already high bar for the content that I want to put. Okay. I'm not here for 10 years, Vinnie, with you because I like you. I like you, but we're doing this work together because I believe in the message.
Okay, fair enough.
You and I could just have a friendship. We don't have to fucking podcast all the time like idiots.
Right.
Spending all this time giving out free content.
You're absolutely right. But let me ask you, because
that's where it comes from. So
go on.
If it's somebody I don't know and they're showing me a thing, I don't know, but I have very high expectations of what you're going to put out there.
Right.
And I have very high expectations based on the way that we've communicated and the things that I've learned over the years of how you're going to get that message out there. And I believe that you have accomplished that and then some with this movie. So Lauren and I don't want to give away too much, But I want to say this. I want to tell you this. Like Lauren and I went on a walk this morning.
You can give away as much as you want because
no, I don't want to do that. But I want to say this. I learned stuff from watching the movie that I didn't know.
Really?
And I feel like I would be the number one person who would know everything already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I learned stuff watching the movie, especially about the methane and the cow stuff.
Right.
And where it's the worst in the world.
Yeah.
And what I really loved was today when Lauren and I were on our walk, we were both still talking about it. And to me, that's my number one litmus test of anything that I watch. Do I remember it the next day? Does it stay with me? Because, we consume so much content.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I went to bed thinking about it, I woke up thinking about it, we talked about it. And Lauren brought up something really interesting. It's like, what do the vegans want? Do they want all animals to live forever? Because that's not going to happen. Everything dies.
Right.
And I like what you said in the movie that like, in order for us to live, something must die. That's the cycle of life. We're so afraid of facing death. And I really think actually there's a spiritual thing that happens. And I get why it seems so paralyzing and how people can empathize so much with the animals. I get it. We love animals.
Yeah. Look,
but it's like, they're not, what are they supposed to do? Grow old. And then you like, they get, you have a burial and a funeral for every cat. Like what? No.
Well, we see a lot of famine with deer right here in this country. Deer, so many deer.
We were talking about that for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The deer population is insane here. We have to have hunting season here.
Yeah, we need more. We need to have longer hunting seasons. I can't tell you how many dead deer I saw. I went 2,000 miles over the past week, about a week ago. No less than 100 dead deer on the road. No, I mean, think about that.
What do you mean from famine or from getting hit by cars and stuff?
Being hit because they're moving.
Okay. Yeah.
It's that time of year where they're running and, they're running everywhere and they'll just run out in front of the car. The saddest one was about 200 miles before I actually got here, where cars were slowing down. A buck had just gotten hit and he was still alive. His legs were broken. He couldn't get up. And I so wanted to back up, pull my gun out and finish.
Get him out of his misery. Yeah.
Because, and I drove for the rest of the trip with a heavy heart going, if I had done that, someone would have called the cops and it would have been the right thing to do, but because cars were slowing down to look at it, and I just wouldn't have gotten out of there without being in trouble. And
well, that brings up the point of what you're talking about. It's like, there's so many things. It's so nuanced. And I feel like you hit all those points. And there's so much that we're being lied to in the American public about. I mean, if I were to sum up themes from all three of your documentaries, it's here's some lies you're being told that I'd like to clear up.
Right.
And that is a necessary thing to do. It's a necessary part. You need somebody to demystify this stuff because Lauren too is like, he now gets it. Like whenever, and I mean, we all joke about how Lauren just eats whatever he wants, and he does. He had 2 croissants. This morning we went to the baker's table and he had a chocolate croissant and the egg and bacon and cheese croissant. He had 2 kinds of croissants and I had smoked salmon and bacon. That was and I posted a his and hers breakfast page. But like I get that like he doesn't do NSNG, but he understands that like he sees the lies in the media and when people are lying to him. And so the whole thing with fast food too, about how the Beyond Impossible companies are targeting working with fast food. It's really mind blowing. And don't forget, so I have an endocrinologist who would be considered probably pretty progressive. Right. She's awesome. I really like her. And I've been working with her for a few years now. And I'm now off thyroid meds. I don't take things anymore, but I still go back a couple times a year to have the thyroid scan because of nodules. And she scans my carotid, my popliteal, and what's the other one? The femoral artery.
Right.
Because I have a marker that is a marker for cardiovascular disease in women, and it shows up on my blood work. All my other blood work's fine.
Right.
They can't figure it out. So in order to, when they see this marker, and since I have, mother and grandmother who died of heart complications, then they scan the arteries and it's clear. There's nothing in there. Calcium test clear. There's nothing in there. So I just genetically, what she's assuming is that but I still go in and do the tests. We have the ability to do that. And I do that. And she said the first time she discovered, this is like a couple of years ago, the first time she discovered this, I feel like it's like apolipoprotein 1 or something like that. I can't even remember. It's like a long word that I don't know. And she said, well, one of my other patients had this high marker and she was doing everything right. And she's about 10 years older than you. And she had a what do they call it? An episode, cardio episode or something like that.
That could be anything from a heart attack to a stroke.
Right. I wasn't sure what it is. She said like cardio episode or something.
Right.
She was doing everything right. And I looked at her. Now, my doctor, she has my book sitting in her office. She has Eat Happy sitting up there. She knows what I do. She knows my focus. And I go, oh my God, she was? What happened? She says, well, she was plant-based. She was vegan. She was doing everything right. And I go, hold on. You know the work I do. And she didn't even think because it was programmed in her brain.
Right.
She didn't even think. And I go, well, hold on, stop. The work I do is different. I don't do plant-based. I mean, I'll give you low carb recipes for plant-based people when they ask, but my focus is for people who eat meat and vegetables and not sugars and grains. And she goes, oh, okay. And I could see there was like a moment of like, I get why she wanted to help me because I had the same marker as that lady. And who knows, I can't say it's because of her veganism that she had a cardio episode. I don't know. But like she, in her mind, and I'm like, well, how many other patients have you said that to?
Well, everyone, because here's the deal. Remember, Anna, we used to use the term when we first started this podcast and we kind of walked away from it.
Yeah.
But what folks who are listening to this must realize is when we started, we called what we were doing going over to the dark side, right?
Yeah.
Because, now everyone knows keto, low carb and everything. But back when we started doing this over 10 years ago, it's over 10 years now, right?
Just about.
Right. When we started doing this, and my book was written 2 years before that, I refused to even put the word ketogenic in my book because I knew that would be a problem. And
I never use it as a keyword on my cookbooks either, because I feel like.
Right. It's just overused. And I've often said it might be my next movie to say, look, keto has been bastardized. I don't know what the next movie is, if I will ever even do another movie. But the bottom line is we can't.
Hopefully you'll be around. Hopefully the vegans won't come after you and kill you.
Well, good luck if they come, because I'm loaded for bear.
They really, really like to threaten people with murder and death. It's kind of insane.
We showed that in the movie too, where a guy had a knife and he's going, if you're going to kill an animal, I'll kill you. This is out there, folks. This is something YouTube will go nuts if I play the Black Crows at the beginning of this. But a vegan can go in there with a knife and put it across, I will kill you if you kill an animal. Okay, that's fine. That's fine, YouTube. But what's fair? Where are we now, YouTube?
And here's what I really like that you say, and this is very true. Why can we no longer have a conversation? Why can we no longer have healthy discourse and debate surrounding the topic? Why won't the guys come on your show? And I know you go into that in the movie, but they won't come on the movie. They won't discuss it.
I actually, and Anna, you saw the movie. Describe what I did in the movie where I showed what, look, I went out to all these vegan doctors. I actually showed their letters back. Yeah. Right. Could you believe I was even doing that? I mean, I was like, look, I asked this guy, here's his letter back to me.
I'm glad that you did.
I was trying to have.
Because you know why? Because on other things that I've seen where they say like, so-and-so didn't respond for requests for comments. It just seems like an afterthought that they say at the end of the documentary. Like, for example, when I watched the Bob Ross documentary and the villains in that, they just don't even like who took all of Bob Ross's estate and money. They don't even like at the very, you're like, well, what are those? This is crazy. And I kept thinking to myself, are they dead? Like, why aren't they commenting? And then at the very end, they're like, Annette so-and-so declined to comment for this documentary. And it's like, well, why don't you say that more up top? And you did that because you're answering the natural questions that you have.
Yeah, I figured at that point in the documentary, people are going to go, okay, he says he wants to have vegan doctors in here. Who did he go to? I went to, look, when I went to Mitt Lerner, who's in the movie, he's the guy from UC Davis.
Oh yeah.
The cow expert that talks about the methane and
the ruminant.
Went to Mitt Lerner. Would you like to be in my movie? Yes. Would you mind signing a release? Send it. Nina's in it for a couple of seconds.
Yeah. So the release thing was what hung up. What's his name?
He
agreed, but then McDougal, but then he said, not if you sign a release, because the release implies that you're going to somehow take his words out of context and like concatenate them into something else or something.
Like, I'm going to explain. All right. So Mitt Lerner, no problem. Lacroix, no problem. Dr. Hampton, no problem. Nina, no problem. Lair Keith, no problem. Everyone signed the release. They didn't go, whoa. You got to reword this. Matter of fact, I'm in someone else's documentary that's coming up. He sent me a release, signed it, sent it back. Scanned it, sent it back. I'm in someone else's movie. I'm not going to talk about his movie yet because I don't know when it's coming out. But when it's coming out, I promised I would bring him onto my show also. It's a friend of mine doing a similar movie about, this meat and all this stuff. I have no idea when it's coming out. It could be another year out. Apparently, I work quicker than other people. But most of these doctors just said, no, I'm busy that day, or some version of that. I was completely dismissed by Dean Ornish. Just,
well, my favorite was Willett's response. I don't want to say it. You guys just watch it. What a fucking cockbag.
Yeah. We're, and by the way,
I just was like, you.
Gregor's response was good too. It's like, how big is your audience? How many people of this and that? Who cares about you and the whole thing? We beat, and we said, what's your criteria? They sent us the criteria. We exceeded all of their criteria across the board. For who he thinks he's so big that you have to have a certain criteria, right? And that guy, we beat all of his criteria, and he goes, "Nah, I'm too busy. I'm not going to do it." I was just trying to have honest conversation with these guys. You know me, Anna. I've had Rich Roll on my show. I've had
Gene Stone.
Yeah, I've had a lot of vegans on this show.
In fact, I went to Gene Stone's event after he was on the show.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. Like, why can't we have a conversation?
Why
actually,
did I ever try to hang anyone up? I've never tried. I had Scott Jurek on this show, noted vegan. I will, and by the way, the only one we had a problem with was the Fritarian. That guy. It was his problem. It wasn't us.
No. He for sure.
That guy was disturbed.
He's got issues.
So we asked all of these. One of my favorite pieces is when I show pieces of that London reel. As a matter of fact, you know the London reel.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The attorney. Let me explain this again. My attorneys have to ask every question along the way. Like, they watch every frame of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The first movie they cleared in about an hour and 15 minutes. The second movie, about an hour. This movie, they were on the phone with me for almost 4 hours, 3+ hours, to clear up every frame. Because if they have to go to court, they have to treat me like I'm, like they like the other attorney is going to come at me, right? And at one point they said, "Oh, you got this Dr. Greger, and you show him in this a piece of a London reel interview, and you make him look like he's insane." And they can look at that and say, well, he pulled out one moment. I said, do yourself a favor, go watch the whole London reel video.
Right.
And then watch the whole interview. And then if you think that I pulled out one little part where I said, do you understand he's that guy all the time?
Right.
Well, we don't know anything about him. They went and watched the London Real, my attorneys. I paid them to watch a whole video. And they called back.
How much is this costing me?
It cost me, oh, these guys are hundreds per hour. This is why it cost me so much to do these movies. They simply wrote back and said, we watched the video with Gregor. Never mind. That's how fucking crazy this guy is in interviews.
Yeah. No, and listen, you know, a lot of times in life, we kind of get our panties in a wad because we try to run other people's actions and words through our own moral compass and value system, right. And we can get ourselves into big trouble. And so I have a hard time with the concept of vegans maligning your message, and right. It's going to happen, and because they're not going to understand. And the thing I want more than anything that I don't understand why we can't just sit down and go, it's okay to both say we can agree to disagree. And instead it's like, nope, it's like, it's such a binary. You are wrong. We can't ever do this. And you're a murderer because you eat meat. And it's funny to me because I don't know, do they go after Giada De Laurentiis? Do they go after her for cooking salami in the thing? Do they go after Jamie Oliver for making chicken? Do they go after, you know, other fitness people who tell people their clients eat protein? And
the answer is, I don't know. But you see, Anna, can we agree on this?
Because you're going to call them out. They're going to come after you. And it's going to go.
Anna, I wasn't calling out vegans or people who want to be vegan. All I was doing was going, hey, there's this, you know, the same people who are telling you that you need to eat good, wholesome food, vegans, you need to eat this whole vegan food, plant-based diet, is now telling you, we're going to come up with this Frankenfood. And by the way, we're going to couple up with Burger King, KFC, you know, Pepsi, we're going to couple up with the worst fast food restaurants in the world and take the one little healthy piece out of their burger, the burger itself. And we're going to inject more crap into this crap storm, right? This is like creating a hurricane within a hurricane.
Well, their messaging is really working because on my N=1 conversations with my friends, when I bring this up with them, which of course, you know, I don't want to be an asshole, like, don't eat that. Like, I'm not going to say that, but I bring it. My friend Vinny has his documentary coming out. I'm really excited about it. And he's, you know, going after the lies being spread by these processed foods. You're going after processed foods.
Right.
It's not even, you know what I mean? Like and my girlfriends will say like, wait, that's not good for, I've had several girlfriends say, wait, that's not good for you. I eat a ton of that stuff.
Right. Because it's in the zeitgeist. And once something is in the zeitgeist,
they have the messaging. They have the PR campaign.
They do. And this guy, Pat Brown, who owns Beyond Meats, you know, these guys are just spending billions on getting this word out there on this fake stuff. Most of it made in China. Most of it is causing more harm to the atmosphere. And by the way, I show all that in the film. This isn't me we actually show it on a screen. This stuff is all produced in China. It's all fake. It's all crap. It's the worst stuff you could put in your body, and they're selling it as the healthiest thing in the world, right?
By the way, I liked the cameo by Bonzo. I noticed that.
Yeah, well,
Bonzo was in the movie.
Well, oh, you mean in the movie? Yeah,
in the movie,
I'm eating my steak.
Yeah,
the thing.
There's a close up of Bonzo gets a close up.
Yeah, well, I was doing this thing, and it's like, you know, because I'm making these movies now, right? Like,
yeah,
I was like, I'm talking about this stuff and I don't have anything really good to put in here. And I was cooking a steak one day for lunch while I was making a movie. And I said, Serena, grab my cell phone and just
start filming it.
Start filming me.
Looks good.
The steak.
Like and then steak. I could see why Bonzo was like, oh,
yeah, Bonzo's in the background. And since we're doing it all in one take, you know, Bonzo's in the movie, you know, so.
But I find it interesting too, the thing that you said, and I always come back to this of like, if you don't want to kill animals or eat animals, why do you want to create stuff that tastes like animals? It seems to me the cognitive dissonance of that is like, it's crazy. And then I go, was it just stuff that's invented by people who have that agenda to trick regular Joes into eating stuff? Is that what it is?
Listen, as you can tell in the
and
movie,
then lie to them and say, this is better for you.
Right. In the movie, you'll see where one guy is doing a TED talk, a vegan guy, and he's literally trying to make the point, and he looks like the world's biggest sanctimonious prick. And he's going, there's a difference between murdering an animal to eat it versus, because he's making an argument that, oh yeah, people, you know, these non-vegans will say that an animal can get caught up in a combine. So you guys are killing. He goes, number one, we're not trying to kill animals. So we're better than you because we're not trying to kill them. They're just dying because, right? So that's different than you shooting an animal and eating it. He's almost making my point for me, right? And he goes, it's the same as if you accidentally hit a dog while you're driving versus aiming at the dog with your car and trying to kill it. No, it's not the same thing. If I go out and hunt, or if I go out and take a cow or a lamb or a pig and slaughter it and consume it, that is not worse than you going, I'm better than you because I know a lot of animals are dying for me to get this piece of bread or this piece of soybean in my throat, but I didn't mean to do it. So you're worse. No, motherfucker, I'm better because I'm doing something consciously. I'm taking an animal and I'm going to use every bit of it. I'm going to eat it.
Well,
We're
so
not
that's
the same
conversation that I get back to with that Lauren and I were saying this morning. Like, what do you want? Do you want cows to live forever and then we have a funeral for the cow and then like what? Why it makes sense
hey, look,
to ethically raise and slaughter the cow and we consume the cow. What's wrong with that? I don't.
Pat Brown said twice in the movie, he said by 2035, he wants cattle to be extinct. And then I did a thing where I said, oh, wait, he didn't really mean that. Yeah. And then I took another cut of him doing it somewhere else. By 2035, so he wants all cattle to be extinct. This is what they want, folks.
What are they going to do? Bury them in mass graves? No one's supposed to eat them? Like, what is supposed to happen?
And what are you going to do? Go to India where they're sacred? You're going to go there and kill all of their sacred cattle?
Well, I think India is that they are letting them just live forever and I guess roam the streets and fart and poop. And
I know you didn't want to give this away, but guess what? 90% of the methane in the world comes from there. Sorry, that's a fact. Okay. And all this bullshit about vegans talking about the cows take up so much water. Every time you eat a hamburger, that was over 700 gallons of water. Guess what? All of the water that these cattle are consuming happens to be what, Anna? Rainwater.
Rainwater.
And what do they do after they drink it?
Piss it out all over the fields.
Yeah, they piss it out. So, yeah.
All right. I want everybody to what's the best way to help you with this movie? What are the things people can do? Pre-order it.
Pre-order is a big thing. Now, I don't know.
Your friends.
Go look right now and see if you can pre-order. If not, I will be preaching about it again on Friday. Anna promised.
No, I want you to tell everybody all the time. It's uncomfortable. I'm going to level with our audience right now. Like, for example, when I came out with the pumpkin marinara, I felt like I talked about it too much. You and I are the same thing of we like to tell, we don't sell, right?
Right.
Like we feel like, because that's what I like. I like a friend telling me about something and I'm like, oh, I want to try that or whatever it is. We're the same way. That's our energy. But I am telling you, you're going to have to embrace your inner salesman and get out there and promote the crap out of this movie. It's so good, Vinny.
I will. I'm going everywhere I can. Dr. Drew, Carolla, all my friends are waiting for this. They can't believe what I've done here. But we're going to talk about it more as we get closer because you guys need to see what's doing here. And by the way, before we get off the subject, what did you think about the whole James Cameron part of it?
It's delicious.
How good was that?
It's good.
And by the way, his one-time smoking hot wife, Susie Amos, by the way, how old do you think she is? And how old does she look in that movie when she's standing next to him?
Oh, I don't know. 65, maybe? I'm not a good judge of judging how old people are, though. She's
my age. veganism is not working out for her.
Oh,
she's my age.
Can I segue for a second?
Absolutely.
And I know we're going to go over time, but I just wanted to say we've got a lot of responses, especially because this is Cyber Monday today. And we got a lot of responses to the Friday show a week ago Friday. And Vinnie and I go kind of deep on the food addiction thing and food beliefs. And we really went deep on it. We got a lot of messages back, a lot of tweets and a lot of cards and letters. And some people asked follow-up questions. So I wanted to ask this, but I also want to urge people to go back and listen to that episode because it might help with what's to come over the next month of the deluge of holiday, Correct. Fanfare that might be triggering some benders. I don't know. We want to be able to help as much as possible and feel like you guys feel empowered and feeling like you can protect yourselves from what you need to protect yourself and enjoy life the way you need to enjoy life. So I highly recommend going back and listening to that episode because I don't know if everybody listens to the Friday show, especially if I'm on it because I'm not a luminary. but that was a good one.
No, I think more people might listen to it when you're on.
I want to ask a follow-up question from somebody because it's very deep. And I, by the way, I'm just going to tell you in advance. I told her, she asked that I think on Twitter, and I just told her, start jumping on the clubhouses, the Monday clubhouses with me or the Thursday clubhouses with Leona and Megan, because a lot of this stuff is going to come up in the moment and you can check in on Clubhouse and Vinny's not able to answer complex questions on Twitter. Vinny also answers the same zone 2 sweet potato questions 400 times. So I'm trying to jump in to be like, hey, I'll ask it on a podcast or jump on Clubhouse because that's what that resource is there for.
Right.
But not that I know, I never want to stop people asking questions, but you can jump in the group. I want to give you more chances to answer it. So you don't have to wait for like, well, in 4 weeks, we got to it on the podcast. So I'm sure you're fine. Okay. I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry. Oh, C to the new says, would love some advice. Recently divorced and my sugar dragon is back and fierce. I am certain it's a coping mechanism, but I'm really having trouble breaking the vicious cycle to get back to an NSNG lifestyle. Any thoughts on how I can kick this thing in the head aside from, quote, starving the sugar cravings? Because trust me, I've been trying and failing and failing. Thank you both.
Yeah, recently divorced is
I have a lot to say on this.
Is a big problem. You've already lost a lot of weight. He's gone, baby. That's good.
That's right.
But here's the deal.
Divorce, death, moving.
Look, I don't know if you wanted out of the relationship or the other person did. Don't know anything about it, but let's say the relationship was bad and you had to move on. You know what I've always said? If you're in a room with a pile of shit for 6 months, and at the end of 6 months, they removed the pile of shit, you would miss it. You got used to it. It's gone. Yep. So now, you're alone. Maybe you have kids around, maybe you don't. I don't know. But there's a void in your life. And it's very common. And by the way, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not Dr. Drew. I'm just armchairing this. But I've seen it with clients for over 40 years. When you have that big void in your life, it's easy to go back to old habits. Sugar could be one of them. Some people go back to alcohol. I've heard people who were 20 and 30 years sober. They went through a bad breakup and they had a slip and all of a sudden they have to start over with their sobriety. The same thing happens with everything we do in life. You have that void and it's a real thing. Don't think that you're weak or you're some kind of wimp or pussy or whatever term you throw at it. You're not that person. Here's the deal. You could talk to me every day of your life, but I can't make you do something, right? You could get a guy like me on the phone every day and pay me and go, okay, I'm paying and I'm talking to you. I can't make you do something. The one thing about each and every mind on this planet, each and every brain, we make our own decisions. And you have to make your own decision. And, whether it's, this is coming out right after Thanksgiving, might be a good time, man. You probably had a rough weekend of every freaking pie and candy and cake and mincemeat pies and all this kind of crap. You know what? Might be a good day to start right now. And you might have just had a Hershey's bar when you heard this. And by the way, I'm not just talking to C15 or whatever that is on the, I'm talking to everyone who's in this position. You might have lost someone. Look, no less than 10 times this year, maybe even as many as 15. I quit counting. I get the phone call, Vinnie, I started in 2013, 2015, I heard you on Corolla, or I heard you on Dr. Drew in 2018, and I lost all of this weight. I'm hearing this from everyone this year. I lost someone to COVID. I lost my father. Couldn't even go to the hospital because of blah, 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 with the COVID. And I lost and I lost and I lost. And when you have that loss in your life, it's a great time for bad habits to seep right back in. We feel like, you know what? Fuck it. Nothing else is working. Why should this work too? Stop filling that void with the wrong thing. You can do this. You can do this. You can pull yourself back together. Divorce is not the end of the world. In a lot of cases, it's the beginning of a new life. And you might not even recognize it right now, right? Take care of that first. I could come on here and go, just rip the Band-Aid off. That's what they would tell you in my Facebook group. Fucking toughen up and just rip the Band-Aid off and just go do this and you'll be fine. You might not be fine, man. Sometimes you just have to put your mind to it and say, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take this anymore, is the famous quote. Do that. Do that. Because it's going to work. It worked before, it's going to work again. Don't fill that void with crap. That's all I got to say.
That's amazing, Vinnie. That's amazing. That's awesome. And I I'm going to say a couple more things to add on to it, which is sometimes this is part of the process. Like the sugar, like the fact that the sugar cravings are coming up and you're going through a momentous life change is actually part of the process. Old shit is going to come up and it's ready to be healed. And that's exactly why it's happening. So if you could find ways to even soften your language about it, like seeing how you call yourself a failure, you call it a dragon, you call it fierce. And instead, maybe you're the fierce one. Instead, maybe you know what I mean? Maybe it's not something that feels so insurmountable because it's mountable. You're going to get past it. You know what I mean? And by the way, speaking of mounting.
Yeah, go on.
Go. No, I was going to say, go have sex with somebody, but no. I was just going to say, like, cause I just feel like sometimes we make things that are figure outable to be so huge and scary. And then usually when you soften your beliefs surrounding that thing feeling scary is when the healing can start to begin. And then you find that it doesn't have any power over you because you're not describing it as big and powerful anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. What's one of our favorite books, Vinnie, that you and I talk about constantly on this show?
Let's see. Well, there's Think and Grow Rich.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay. I was going to also say The Power of Positive Thinking is another good one. But,
well, Think and Grow Rich very specifically states, and I can't remember who he said quotes it, but you can't find the solution from being in the place of the problem. So I think clarifying questions like you did, asking those questions is great. Clarify what that is. Clarify what it is that you feel you need the answer to. And then try to let go of the emotional attachment to what got you to that question and lighten up.
Let me quote.
And see what comes. You know what I mean? Because answers can then come because you will shift from being so caught up in the question and the problem to be able to find the solution. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to quote the great Jimmy Weber. Now you might ask, who's Jimmy Weber? He's a guy I shoot skeet with, and he's a really good shot. And the one thing we always do in life, like, guys like us who hit 24 and 25 every time, that kind of thing, sometimes you'll get in a slump, you'll get the yips or whatever. and you'll miss a shot. And then instead of relaxing and composing, you'll just lift the gun up again and miss again. Right.
That sounds like what I would do.
The great,
I get so frustrated.
oh yeah. Italians aren't made for ski. The great Jimmy Weber will tell you, whenever I miss, he'll be right behind me. We shoot every day together. And he'll simply say, while I'm collecting myself, because I always collect myself, he'll say, now this time miss somewhere else. Because a lot of times when you miss, you'll miss the second shot exactly. We can see our wads.
You keep going for the same.
Yeah. It's like I made a mistake. Now watch me make the same mistake.
Because you keep focusing on the mistake.
Right. As Jimmy will whisper in my ears, miss it somewhere else.
God, that's good. That's so good.
Yeah.
Because you're right. The brain will do that. I made the mistake. And then you keep repeating the mistake over and over again. And you're literally talking about taking the physical action of repeating the mistake again and again, which the whole point of a mistake is to go, hey, I recognize that's a mistake. Do something else.
Yeah. And
that's what the mistake is there for, not to keep doing the mistake.
Yeah. We all watch those wads. We can see those wads flying out behind, and so you can see exactly where you missed. And so we all know I know where I missed. Everyone behind you knows where you missed. But the guy shooting again, the guys behind you, because a lot of times I'm the guy behind, right? I'll go, oh, I saw what Jimmy did wrong. I would just swing a little out. Yeah. Jimmy will whisper in my ear, miss somewhere else.
That's good.
Whoever this person is, great. You know how to fuck up. You got that figured out. Miss somewhere else. Just miss somewhere else. And let me tell you something about divorce. Is this a man or a woman?
I think she's a woman. I think it's a woman. Yeah.
If it's a woman and you happen to be heterosexual, you know what they say? The best way to get over one relationship is to get under another one. So go do that.
Unless you now are going to replace your sugar addiction with sex addiction, in which case then you're going to need to talk to Dr. Drew. And then it's not our problem anymore. We did
our job. We can send you down the road. We know people. We can help you. And by the way, sex addiction, easy to get over. I could get it if I had a sex addiction. I'm pretty sure I could get over that in no time. Pretty sure. Sugar, I'm telling you, I get the monkey on my back with the sugar. I got to remind myself, because tomorrow I'm sure Tallulah's going to come over and say, I made this pie. And your damn daughter comes over with the pie. What do you do? No, I'm not having that. Right?
By the way, we're recording this the day before Thanksgiving, even though it's coming out Sunday, Monday.
So I'll eat the pie and then just do my double espresso right behind it.
Yeah.
To make it good. That's how I just get that done. And if I need to have 4 or 5 more espressos, it doesn't matter. And if after we clean up, if I have to come down here and get on my rowing machine or my spinner or do a weight workout or something, it doesn't matter. But I won't go to bed thinking about sugar and waking up the next morning thinking I'm getting rid of it tomorrow.
Wait, are you saying you're doing a workout to combat the sugar you just had, or just to get mindset wise out of it? Because people will think, oh, he went to go do cardio because he ate too much sugar.
No.
No.
There is no getting rid of it. There is no getting rid of it. I'm not coming down here to burn calories. But if I can't get rid of it with coffee, which is what I want to do, I'll come down here and just spend an hour. And by the way, an hour doesn't get rid of shit. By the by.
Right.
But I'll just come down after we clean up and everything, turn on something on television, just sweat for an hour, go take a nice hot shower and go to bed. Just wake up Friday, Black Friday, everything will be fine.
We got BFCM, you guys. Oh, by the way, Cyber Monday.
Oh, this is Cyber Monday, right?
Today's Cyber Monday.
Look at us.
If you're on my email list, you already got the notification, but both Eat Happies are on sale for $2.99 at Amazon, the Kindle versions. And that's the lowest that Amazon will let me market. And that's because there's so many pictures in there that there's a minimum cost because it costs them money to fulfill it, you guys. Poor Amazon. I hope they make their nut, But I did mark it down to $2.99 each of the Kindle versions of the book. So, and Amazon does make it easy to email those out to people now because everybody has the Kindle app on their phone.
Yeah.
So go get it. $3. Come on, go get both of them.
Go get everything Anna has. I'm sure that my companies are going to be sending stuff out because I have, Chris and company, they that work over there.
Yeah.
they will be sending out cyber stuff to you guys. So I won't hammer you with that. But look around for the movie. I don't know.
I'm so excited for people to see it. I can't wait to see what happens. And I'm also a bit trepidatious.
Anna, if they put it out by Wednesday, you're coming on the Wednesday show.
Okay.
I want you on to talk about when people can start buying it. I need you on.
Yeah, great. Love it.
You know, we'll see. But because I can't keep making, as you know, or you may not know, you might be new to this. And this will be the final word, I promise. I got money from you guys to make the first movie. And when I had enough money after that movie, I was able to take that money and make the second movie. That movie made just enough money for me to make this movie.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys stop buying my movies, I'm out of the movie. This is not a threat from me. This is reality.
No, it's just economics.
I'm not making money on these movies. I'm breaking even on these movies and putting the money into trying to educate more.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on here. I make my money in the vitamin business, the coffee business, and the NSNG food company. That's how I pay my bills. I'll pay my mortgage. I'll pay for my health insurance and what have you. Everything else I do, this podcast and everything else, if it doesn't make enough money for me to keep it going, I'm out. I'm good. I don't have to make another movie. Matter of fact, if it doesn't make enough money, I'm fine, because these movies ain't easy to make. I just hope I'm getting better at it. Anna, it sounds like you think
there was so much footage in there. I was like, and the music choices and just so much research. I would hate to make a documentary with the heat of 1,000 suns. It's so much work.
We both know Denny.
You guys did great,
right? You turned me into Denny.
I introduced you to him, right?
Yeah. Denny put out a movie called The Wrecking Crew.
Mm-hmm.
How many years, Anna? Do you know how many years it took him to put that movie out?
Oh, how many years?
Mm-hmm.
Decades.
It took him over 10. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
Since 2019? When did my first movie come out? 2018 or 19?
Mm-hmm. You done three.
I've done
2018.
3. Yeah. I'm cranking them out. I'm cranking these things out, and I'm not doing a bad job on them. These are done.
They're
As a matter of fact, I can make the argument that the third one is the best one.
Yeah.
And I was making that during COVID time. As you noticed, I had to Zoom everyone in, but we figured out how to make Zoom look better and everything else. And
when's the actual release date that Gravitas is releasing it?
January 11th.
Okay.
You will be able to see the movie. And they don't like to release.
I love that, because you know what happens on January 3rd?
What?
Our podcast numbers double on January 3rd.
Oh yeah, that's right. They do. So right after that.
So the folks who are not listening right now, because they're like, I'm too scared to hear what Vinny has to say because I'm already off the rails. They're going to be listening on the Monday show on January 3rd.
Yeah. So
and we are going to say, guess what, guys?
Yeah.
That's good.
So let's see if all that happens. So folks, go check out Anna Vocino on Amazon. Go check out all the deals she has there. Go to annavocino.com to see what's doing over there, and Eat Happy Kitchen. That's where you'll get the marinara, the puttanesca, and the crema.
We have 57 twin packs left of marinara to sell for the holidays.
If you have a spare $10,000 hanging around, I have one jar of pumpkin marinara left.
By the way, I only have one jar too, and I can't eat it because I have to save it for next year to make sure that it compares to the next year. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
I got one left and I don't know what to do with it. Going to the highest bidder. So $10 million. Well, that would keep this show running for a while.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
You know what else keeps the show running? Superfan page.
Yeah. Tell them about it, Anna. How can they do that?
Go to VinnieTortorich.com and click on the Become a Superfan little square, little picture, and you can donate some money. You can do an ongoing thing, a monthly donation, look, few bucks, or you can do, let's say you lost 35 pounds. You can donate a one-time $35 donation. Put a note on your PayPal and say what it's for, because it's fun to see those. Vinnie sees all those come through. So thank you guys for doing that. It really does a lot. Also, you can, I don't know if you guys have heard of this website called Amazon. You're probably going to shop there this holiday season. Make sure you go to VinnieTortorich.com first and click through the Amazon banner. Then do your shopping. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but what it does is it tags your purchase, and Amazon shoots over a little taste to the podcast and helps put some coal in the fire, get a train down the track, put some wind in the sails of what we're doing over here. So support in that way, and Vinnie will, pay all the hangers on like myself.
Anna, did we mention Villa Cappelli in this show?
Oh crap, we did not.
Do you think maybe we should do that since they need for an ad?
You probably should do that. Villa Cappelli, the best olive oil on the planet. I'm going to actually go to their site right now because they are sending me a 3-liter tin. They also send the oil to Nashville to my manufacturer because we put Villa Cappelli olive oil in there. They send the oil to Vinnie's vitamin D manufacturer because he uses the oil in that. Oh my God. Oh, they still have stuff in stock. The 3-liter tin. Oh, and I said this on this past Friday show, and I'm going to say this on this show right now. Where did you go? I thought maybe you left and went to the bathroom. We're still on camera, right? Oh, he doesn't have his headphones in. He doesn't know what I'm saying. I went to Ojai and I picked up some olive oil, some local olive oil, and it was 375 milliliters for $20. Because people complain about the price of olive oil. Steven prices it so fairly. I can't even tell you. 750 milliliters, which is twice the size of what I bought, is $28.99. So and then you get the 3-liter tin. It's $99. Just trust me, you guys. Trust me. We'll get the KTM. Use the discount code Vinnie, VINNIE. You will get 10% off your order each and every time. Oh, he put up the Eat Happy collection. There's a gift basket, the Eat Happy collection. Oh, there's an apron for sale. There's the red wine seeds, all these gift collections, which is
I need an apron.
Oils.
An apron. I need that.
I have an apron.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one.
The Easy Italian collection. So this looks awesome.
I'm gonna wear mine like the guy in Texas with no shirt on, with all my Italian hair hanging out.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Bob Zimmer.
Bob, yeah, but I'm gonna wear it like Bob with no shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
Yep.
All right, that's it. We did it.
All right, so let me turn off this.